of the day is PrimaryBid. Now, PrimaryBid is one of my favourite new companies that set up in the past few years. They basically allow you to invest in IPOs, new issues and placings without having to negotiate with your stockbroker. Now, historically, if you wanted to invest in IPOs or new issues or placings, you had to phone up your stockbroker and beg and plead for them to allocate you some shares that were primarily allocated to institutions and larger funds who would buy several £1,000,000 of it. And investors that just wanted to invest £1,000 or £5,000 or even £20,000 was seen as too much hard work to organise. So people have always been able to invest in IPOs and placings, but it's historically been quite difficult. ADVFN did try it a few years ago with all IPO, but unfortunately that never really worked out. It's a bit of a shame. In fact, so intrigued was I by how PrimaryBid was going to make access to IPOs work after all IPO didn't. I actually sat down with one of their co-founders, Kieran De Silva, to have a little chat about the risks and rewards of investing in IPOs, what PrimaryBid does and what they're hoping to achieve as a business. It's well worth a watch, actually, if you want to learn more about PrimaryBid. But PrimaryBid seems to have made it work. They've partnered with the London Stock Exchange, and you can invest in pretty much any share or bond that comes to market through their platform. You don't actually invest on their platform, you invest through it. So you apply for an allocation through PrimaryBid, and then when your allocation is received, that is delivered to your stock brokerage account. So if you've got an account with Hargreaves Lansdown or Interactive Investor or AJ Bell, those shares will then appear in your investment account for you to either hold in the long term or stag. Now, stagging an IPO, of course, is when you apply for shares in the initial public offering and then sell them shortly afterwards. The stagging is the attempt to make short-term profits. It's why a lot of IPOs are in high demand, particularly placings, because they tend to be at a discount to the market. Now, there are good things and bad things about PrimaryBid. Obviously, the good thing is that they provide access to the whole market. But back in the old days, if you wanted to apply for shares in a company, as I said, you'd phone up your stockbroker and you wouldn't have to pay for them till you knew your allocation. So if you got scaled back, if an issue was oversubscribed, and you applied for, say, £10,000 worth and only got allocated 5, you'd then only have to pay 5,000. But with PrimaryBid, you have to pay for what you expect to be your full allocation via debit card on the app as soon as you apply for the shares, and you can't back out once you've applied. No refunds apply. You have to wait for the stock to come to market. The second thing that's just a little bit of a niggle is there isn't really a huge amount of information on the PrimaryBid about the shares that you're investing in. There's a little about section which shows you basically what the share or bond is all about, but there's no sort of expected market cap. There's no financial history, so you can see how the company's performed. Obviously, you can look this up. There are links to the website and there's the Pathfinder document, but to be honest, I mean, no one is ever going to read a Pathfinder document. And websites really only show what the company want you to see. So it would be good if there was a bit more financial transparency on the app of the companies that you could invest in. But then again, I suppose the old caveat applies. Do your own research. Don't listen to anyone else. If you are going to take advice, make sure it's from a financial professional, not someone sprouting off on social media. Go and investigate the company yourself and the bonds. Make sure you do your own research and be aware of the risks of investing in IPOs and new issues, because as with any share, fund, bond, they can go down. Yes, there's the opportunity to make money, but just because you buy shares at a discount, it doesn't mean there's still going to be a discount when you get the opportunity to sell those in the market. Now, there are no fees for using PrimaryBid because the issuers actually pay PrimaryBid to help them raise money. When I was a stockbroker about 20 years ago, it was fantastic when a company was raising money. I remember Umbro when they came to market. You know, household name, everybody wanted a piece of it. And of course, the great thing about IPOs is that you actually, as a broker, earn more commission than you do from just doing a trade. If someone buys shares in the market, you know, you earn a few quid. But back in those days, companies would pay up to 5% of the amount of money you raise for them. So PrimaryBid, as well as being a fantastic mechanism and network for getting access to these IPOs, they are also a viable business as well, which is quite nice to see in a climate where usually there's a lot of companies that just come to market, are massively VC backed, IPOing so that the early investors can get out and release some money. You just have to look at what's happened to the market. You know, the big IPOs over the last few years have all been absolute disasters because they've all been really tech heavy, VC backed companies. With PrimaryBid, you know, for example, on there at the moment, you've got Chess PLC. So you can invest in a company that organises chess competitions. Everybody loves chess. It's not going anywhere. It's not massively overvalued. It's not a massively high market cap either. So if you like chess, it's potentially one to get involved in. You can also invest in bonds. There's a retail charity bond on there at the moment. We'll go into that in another video. So if you've used PrimaryBid, or if you go on to use PrimaryBid, come to the Good Money Guide. Tell us what you think of them. Vote for them in our awards. Thanks for watching.